Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm the Logic Doctor. Automation. What is it? Why should I use it? And how do I do it? These are the three main questions I've heard people ask when they've reached a point in their production journey where simply putting things together is just not enough anymore. You begin to hear ideas in your head that are just simply not able to be executed with the push of a button or the turn of a knob, and if you try to work around these ideas, your track forever sounds like it could be more to you. From fades to tape stops, automation is some of the most useful knowledge you could have in your arsenal, and it could save you money in the grand scheme of things, so why not learn it? So what is automation? Automation in its general definition is the technique of making a machine, process, or system work automatically. Now, how does this apply to music, or more importantly, Logic Pro? To put it lightly, almost every process that can be created in Logic Pro can be automated. This includes interface processes such as gain or panning, but also includes processes in third-party plugins such as tape stops, reverbs, delays, gates. Everything under the sun can be automated. Next up would be, why should I use automation? This question can be difficult to answer as it is relative to the situation you may be in. Let's say, for example, you received a commission for a mix, or you've recorded a friend in your studio. You go home and sleep on it, and when you come back in the morning, you realize that some of the vocals you've recorded or some of the vocals that have been sent to you are not very evenly leveled. This could be because the artist is very new to recording and doesn't have very good mic etiquette, or you may have just missed it the night before. Ideally, you would re-record this because having a quality vocal means a quality mix. But if you don't have a way to do this, it is not impossible to fix this issue in post-production. This is where automation comes into play, where you automate your track's fader to move up or down relative to the peaks of your vocal, which in turn will give you a much more level vocal, which you can then put into your chain and not worry about things such as overcompression, where you're trying to level out a vocal that is not very level. This is just one very common example to what automation can do, and there is a plethora of processes that can be automated to your advantage in Logic Pro's very easy to use interface. So without further delay, I'll now show you how to use automation in Logic Pro. Here I have an intro to a song I've started to work on. It's just drums, a loop, and a vocal to keep this as simplified as possible. I'll play it for you now, just so you can see what we're working with. Everywhere I look, I just see faces, complacent. Couldn't be me, I'm too much fun. I wanna run, but I'll give it one more shot, yeah, one more shot for you, just for you. I'll give it one more try, maybe it's our time to grow. I'm betting there'll be a few. I just wanna live the good life I see on TV. Maybe if I love you just right, you'll see me for me. As you can see, it is very rudimentary, and all I have on the vocals is pitch correction and an EQ. I personally use Metatune by Slate Digital. Their plugin bundle is very affordable and of superb quality. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but if you're looking for plugins and don't have hundreds of dollars to spend, Slate Digital plugins are definitely the way to go. Now back to this track. As I said before, this vocal is very dry and unprocessed. This vocal is already gain staged and is very leveled, but we still have much room to automate other things, such as effects, which is why I'm using this project as an example. Now let's add some effects to work with. First, I'll link this track to two auxiliary tracks in the mixer. I won't do too much to perfect these effects, as what we're trying to focus on is automation. Now that we have our template, let's get into the automation process. To access your automations, you'll go up to your playlist toolbar here. Here you'll see Edit, Functions, View, your Live Performance tab, your Playlist tab, and next to that, your Automation tab. Click it to open it. You'll notice that your playlist has changed and all your tracks look like negatives of themselves. This means you're in automation mode. I'll show you around so you can begin to get acquainted with this mode. If you zoom in, you'll see a line running straight through every track. This line is what we'll use to add keyframes later to begin automating. In your track list, you'll notice things have also changed. You now have two new drop-down menus under your four main action buttons. They say Read and Volume. Under the Read tab, you have 6 options: Read, Touch, Latch, Write, Trim, and Relative. These are all different automation modes which will change the way your automation works while playing your track. Under the Volume tab, you'll see that you have 2 options under Automation: Volume and Main. Volume is currently selected and is the only parameter available for automation. Once we add more plugins, they will be on this list with a drop-down showing all the parameters in that plugin available for automation. Now back to the Read tab. What do all these options mean? Like I said before, these are all different automation modes that will change the way your automation reacts while playing your track. Read plays back all the automation that exists on the track. If volume data exists, for example, the volume fader moves while your track plays and follows the pre-recorded automation on the track. These are the keyframes that I was talking about earlier, that you will add manually later. You can't change the value of the chosen automation parameter by moving controls when in read mode. Touch plays back automation in the same way as read mode. The difference being, you can modify the value of the chosen automation parameter by moving controls, such as the pitch wheel on your MIDI keyboard or faders in your mixer while your track plays. After the fader or wheel is released, the parameter follows existing automations on the track. Latch works like touch mode, but after the fader or wheel is released, the new parameter value replaces existing automation on the track instead of defaulting back to the existing automation. Write erases existing automation on the track as the playhead passes over it. If you were to pitch your track down with your pitch wheel while recording an instrument, the new pitch parameters would print all over your existing automation data. On the other hand, if you were to record and do nothing at all, it would erase existing automation data. Trim offsets the value of the existing automation data in its entirety by adjusting it up or down by the amount you move the fader or control. This option works in combination with touch and latch modes. And finally, Relative adds a secondary automation curve that offsets the existing primary curve for the selected parameter. There are 3 channel strip parameters for which you can create relative automation: volume, pan, and send levels. When both relative and absolute automation exists for one of these parameters, both curves are visible and can be edited separately. Relative automation works in combination with touch, latch, and write modes. Today we'll only focus on read as it's the most common mode of automation, and I want to keep this as simplified as possible. Now let's get to automating. Let's say that after all these phrases, I want my delay to be louder and more in the forefront. To do this, I would need to automate the volume of my delay up and down relative to where the gaps are in my vocal. Since my delay is on its own track, I can do this easily without messing with any other parameters. First, open your mixer and click the track your delay is placed in. Once it's selected, press down Ctrl and right-click your track. You'll see a menu appeared, and the first option is Create Track. Click it. If you go back to your playlist, you'll see that a new track has appeared named Aux1. This track controls nothing but the delay, which is exactly what we need to automate our volume. Next, you're going to make sure volume is selected in your drop-down menu. It already should be, as it's what tracks default to. Now hover over your track in your playlist and click it. Now our line is a prominent yellow and has become active automation data. Let's put our playhead where we want our automation to start. Once it's placed, we can start keyframing. Since this won't be an absolute change to our whole track, I'll make 4 keyframes like this. I do this so that when I move my automation lineup, the rest of the automation data will stay at the same value. Now select the line in between and raise it up. When I play it, you'll hear the delay getting louder and quieter as the playhead passes by it. This automation curve is like a plateau and is very rigid. We can alleviate that by coming back up to our toolbar. In the middle, you'll see two cursors. Click the one on the right and open your tool dropdown. Go down to the Automation Curve tool and select it. This will make it your secondary tool, but will keep your cursor active. Now go back down to your automation and choose the parameters you want to curve. I want to curve these two. Hover over the center of the line and hold the Command key down. This will switch your cursor to the Automation Curve tool. Now click and drag your line up. You'll see your line start to curve into a much softer buildup. This is what we want. When I play it, you'll hear the same upward and downward change, but it'll be more gradual. That sounds much better. Now remember how I said I wanted this effect after every phrase? We'll now copy and paste this curve where we need it and adjust how we need to. In order to do this, just click and drag over your data. It will select all the keyframes you've created. Click Command C to copy it. Now we can move our cursor to our next location. Here you can press Command V to paste it, and you'll see it has duplicated the automation data to this part of the track. This is standalone data and can be changed without changing other data on your automation track. This same method will work with any parameters on any plugin fader or knob, whether it be on the same track as your vocal or on a separate auxiliary track how I showed you today. And that is how you use automation in Logic Pro. I only showed you one example tonight just to make it simple and easy to understand, but like I said before, there is a plethora of ways you could use automation to make your production skyrocket. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. If you like what you've seen so far, please like and subscribe and hit that bell button. It really helps me out. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Logic Doctor. I'll catch you in the next one.